I discovered the definition of fear about 2 years ago when I met a lizard, right? All along I wasn't afraid of lizards, and it's a little thing, and it runs about, it really doesn't care what you're doing, and it's not trying to eat my food. But I take it upon myself to be deathly afraid of lizards, and somebody said to me, you know, explain why you're afraid of it. And I couldn't put it into words. It was just this feeling that made me very uncomfortable to the point where I would cry. The person said to me, you know, the thing about fear, Crystal, is that it is irrational. It makes no sense to you. You can't reason it out and weigh it out and decide, today I'm going to be afraid of this thing. Tomorrow I'm not going to be afraid of it because of these list of reasons. When you talk about leadership and being fearless, because it is not a rational decision that you're going to be afraid to open your mouth, you're going to be afraid to disagree, you're going to be afraid to chart the course, it's difficult to then say, I'm going to be fearless. So for me, it is a process of doing those things that I think I might be afraid of for whatever reason, and forget about the feeling of discomfort and uncertainty and inadequacy that might come just before I do that one thing or the series of things. So I don't have a definition for what it means to be fearless, because it is not a reasonable thing to be fearful. But what I do encourage leaders, especially women, to do is that thing which makes you uncomfortable. And I think that is how you become without fear, because you are doing the thing that makes you uneasy. By nature, I'm a confrontational person. Not that I'm warish, but if it's happening, I want to address it, and it might make you feel uncomfortable to confront it with me now, but I'm not going to leave it until tomorrow, because you might change your mind about it, and I want to know why you did it the moment that you did it, because there's a reason you did it at 3 o'clock today, so let's talk about it. A man has never tried to invalidate me because of age, and the one time it happened to me, it was a female, and it hurt me so bad. Because we work in 2 different departments. So my department has to lean on hers for support, especially when we have projects coming up. So I had planned something to execute, and we were working great together. At this time, she assumed I was like 28, 29. So we are getting on fine. And one day she's dropping me somewhere, and she says, how old are you? Because I told her I was still at UA. She said, how old are you? I said, I'm 20. At the time I was 24, or I'm 25 now. I need to update my bio. So at the time I was 24, just turned 24. And she looked at me and she said, really? I said, yes. Boy, you don't act it at all. Next day is a different person I'm dealing with, because now I'm a picnic. And so I went to her desk, and you know, I was giving her an update on something. Like she had asked me to check on some price or something, and I'm giving her the update on it. And she says to me, boy, you know, Chris, I don't think we're going to do this anymore. I'm not seeing the value of it. No, we've been planning this for 2 weeks. So I go, well, tell me, you know, what is it you want to know? Let me explain it to you. We can go back through the proposal. I can explain the cost and benefit. Just tell me what it is you don't understand. And the woman throws an attitude my way that blew me out of the water, because I didn't expect it. I chalked it off as, you know, maybe a bad day. The week continues, and it's the same sort of approach. The tone of the emails change. And one day I take the phone up and I call her and I say, listen, I need to meet with you because I think something is going awry and this needs to happen. I'm not going to waste all the time that I invested in planning this. So whatever's happening, let's just work on it. She said, sure, you can come down to my office and speak with me. And we're there talking, and I kid you not, I'm going to demonstrate. I'm not going to tell you what she said. I'm just going to show you how she said it to me. I'm talking to her, and she goes, she's finished. She has nothing more to say to me. And I said to her, you know how old I am, but I have to ask, how old are you? I said, do you think this is high school? This Crystal does not do. So if you have something to say to me or to ask me now so we can deal with it. But if you're going to speak to me as though I'm your child, it is not going to work. And she was silent for like a minute. And I said this just loudly enough so the other people in the cubicle heard. And she sat there for a moment and she said, well, she agreed that we're going to go ahead and do the thing that we're going to do. But perhaps it's best that we not communicate, so I should communicate through my supervisor. She didn't stay at the position very long. No, apparently, her attitude was not just towards me. Anybody who she thinks she should be condescending to, she did that with them. For me, it was no, because she thought I was a kid. So I shouldn't be communicating directly with her. She shouldn't have to explain herself to me. And if I want to meet with her, I better come downstairs into her office on her time. And the moment I dealt with it that way with her, it stopped. We didn't work together on anything else, but the tone of the emails certainly changed. And it is tragic for me because it's somebody I was growing to respect, and I wanted to maintain that level of respect and camaraderie where appropriate with her. But just having to confront that on the day when I went upstairs and I said to my supervisor, you know, this is what happens, so you might see a change in how she deals with our department. And she said she understood, but I almost cried because it hurts me the most when somebody I respect disrespects me. Worse, I didn't do anything to provoke it. And I got over it eventually, but that's the only time I can remember somebody not wanting to give me what I thought I had earned because I was young. Most of the meetings or teams that I'm in are with, like I said, people who have children older than I am. And you have one responsibility when you meet anybody, and it's to show them your best self. Who are you and what are you bringing to the table? Because most people like assets. There's some people who don't like assets. You know, no matter how much of a benefit you bring to the table, they just don't want you there at all. But in an organization that functions on efficiency and results, they want an asset. So you show them why it is that you have to be at the table, because if you're not there, some things aren't going to be achieved. So like, because me young, they don't know social media like I know it. So when them talk marketing and when they talk sales and when they talk new media, oh my God, and they can't beat me there, so. Because I know I'm bringing to the table that youth factor, that at this age and stage in somebody else's life, they don't understand it. And no matter how much they don't want to hear from me, this is something you do not know, but I know it. And I'm going to show you the value of listening to me and how you can either turn that knowledge that I have into money, into influence, or at least a bargaining chip to get something else. So since I got my job, my boss says to me all the time, he don't like silly, because when I come, it's money I beg in. And I'm going to get it, because I can sell you the idea. And then you can sell it now to whoever you have to answer to after you approve this payment or sign this check. I have built the trust and confidence of people who I know have some sway. It don't work all the time, but it's good to have that in your corner. So put on the best show that you can, show them who you are and what you have to offer. And on some level, I'm telling you, they'll come around. And they might never say it to you. Somebody else will come and tell you on their behalf, because I've heard those stories. So I don't like, you know, but boy, I'm saying you're the best whatever I've ever seen. So I don't like, you know, but she said, God, no, if she have a daughter, she don't want a daughter to say like you. They will never say it out their mouths, but they are looking and taking lessons from you, just like how you would take lessons from other people and might not say, you know, you're teaching me something today. I think the best examples of it are Lisa Hanna and the Prime Minister, Ms. Portia Simpson Miller. The first thing people want to know when a woman is about to speak is how she looks. That is the first thing. Human beings like pretty things. They like to look at nice things. Whether they can have it or not, if it looks nice, they're happy. And an important part of putting yourself in the public space and in media is your presentation. I understand that beauty has its purpose. There are some doors that would not have opened for me if I never dressed right that day. if my hair never do, if my makeup never set right. Because people just visually make judgments. They look at you and they decide, I don't really care what you have to say, or I will give you a moment and see where this goes. Alright, at least have a seat. We'll see what can come of this. Human beings are like that, and I've accepted it. So when it comes on to managing media, where it is appropriate, I will use my feminine wiles, not short skirt wiles. Yes? Not touchy-feely wiles. But I make sure that I look as good as I can, as is appropriate for the setting. So people are encouraged, they're comfortable, they're pleased, they're happy to see me, happy to smell me, because I just look right. But then you make sure that what you're bringing to the table, you're delivering it in a way that is appropriate to who you're speaking to. So when I have an interview on Smile Jamaica with Neville, Neville is chill. You can't come to Neville and say, in 1962, and you know, they're 35% of, that's not Neville. And you might not get the best out of the interview if you approach Neville like that. Simone, you give Simone your facts and your stats, that's Simone. Neville, you have to bring it across in a little more endearing way, a little more relaxed, be warm with him. And I use the examples of the two women that I mentioned because of how people will first assess what they look like before they tell you what they've achieved. And as much as I don't like it, I don't think it is something that should obtain, it does. So for the purposes of whatever I'm trying to achieve, I will use the skills I have available to me, and if I have a particular edge that I can work because of your bias, I will work it to the greater good of whatever my goal is. So look the part as a woman and don't be afraid of your femininity and your beauty. It is a powerful thing. It is an absolutely powerful thing. It can be intimidating, but it can also be endearing. And as human beings, we know what we like, and I don't know why we think other people won't like it. Men don't have those standards to live up to. The most you ask is that the pants don't crush up and them shave them face. They don't have that standard to live up to, but we understand that we do. So look like you come to the business and then deal with your business. So once you have left, people don't have any qualms or uncertainties about why you were there and the efficacy of your presence there. Whether it is social media or traditional media, make sure you are somebody that people want to get to know and they want to listen to, and you just massage whatever egos and biases they might have to plant your seed and cement your message and your goals. Other times you might just have to be aggressive about it, but know what works and when it will work. I'm going to stick with empower. We should use our voice and power to empower. Life, the journey of life is a cycle of sharing energy and positivity. And whatever it is that you give off to other people, expect it to redound in your life. So I want each woman, each individual, even the men in the room, to consider themselves vessels having the power to change lives and to impact lives, to change minds, to develop minds. And if we take that power seriously, there's absolutely nothing that we cannot do. We take for granted the statement that the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. And it is so very true. Most of the ideas about leadership and power, especially that Jamaicans have, come from a matriarch. Whether it was the grandmother, the mother, the auntie, the sister, or families are built, and our society is built on the role that women play in each other's lives and in the lives of children. So take that role very seriously and tell yourself that you are a leader. If you go on the bus, the pay that you're paying the bus driver, you're a leader. Say good morning, say thank you. You're a leader in the smallest and greatest of positions. And when people can see you leading, it inspires and encourages them. Don't take for granted the eyes that are watching you and depending on you to set some kind of an example so they know what to do next. Women, I tell you, the frock tail, where you said people each up on their frock tail, children don't follow men around the way they follow women around, because they're expecting us to teach them something, give them something, feed them, nourish them, something. They're always wanting something from the women around them. Take that as an indication that you are meant to lead and you're meant to empower. Spelled H-E-R.